education. There have actually been studies showing that when you green vacant lots and repair abandoned buildings in urban neighborhoods, you see decreases in gunshots, in violence, as well as in stress and depression in the neighborhoods around them.
No disrespect, Doc, but that sounds a lot like word salad to me. Let me ask you this. In September of this year, our New Mexico governor issued a public health emergency order, and she suspended the right to bear arms in Albuquerque and the surrounding county. Do you support that?
What you just watched is a perfect example of why Senator John Kennedy stands out in Washington. This wasn't grandstanding. This wasn't yelling. This was a senator calmly exposing how weak, evasive, and unprepared so-called experts can be when their ideas are finally challenged with real-world logic. The witness came in with polished talking points about gun violence and public health, but the moment Senator John Kennedy started asking basic, common-sense questions about Chicago, about prosecutors refusing to enforce gun laws, about constitutional rights, the entire narrative fell apart. And what stood out the most? Senator John Kennedy didn't twist words. He didn't interrupt recklessly. He simply let the witness talk, and in doing so, the contradictions spoke for themselves. If you value accountability, honest debate, and leaders who actually ask the questions Americans are thinking, you're going to want to watch this entire breakdown. This is Congress Lens. I'm Audrey. If you believe sunlight is the best disinfectant in politics, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Rainey, welcome first. You are an ER doc, is that right? Okay.
Correct.
And I understand you've been on television a lot?
A fair amount.
Yes, ma'am. And I understand you built a home television studio, is that right?
That's a bit of an exaggeration. I had a laptop on a stool.
Your husband didn't build you a home studio?
He did not build me a home studio, no.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Why do you think that Chicago has become America's largest outdoor shooting range? Do you think it's because of Chicago citizens who have no criminal record, but who have lawfully a gun in their home for protection or perhaps for hunting? Or do you think it's because of a finite group of criminals who have rap sheets as long as King Kong's arm?
So Mississippi, Louisiana, and Missouri actually have higher firearm death rates. Obviously, there's certain...
What about Chicago?
So I don't live in Chicago. It's not my primary area of research.
You don't have an opinion on that?
I think there's easy access to firearms combined with environmental conditions, lack of great education. There have actually been studies showing that when you green vacant lots and repair abandoned buildings in urban neighborhoods, you see decreases in gunshots, in violence, as well as in stress and depression in the neighborhoods around them.
No disrespect, Doc, but that sounds a lot like word salad to me. Let me ask you this. In September of this year, our New Mexico governor issued a public health emergency order, and she suspended the right to bear arms in Albuquerque and the surrounding county. Do you support that?
I do not. What I do support is the work that New Mexico has done
with... Do you support that?
No.
You don't? Okay. Let's see. During his first 2 years as the DA in Philadelphia, District Attorney Krasner and Loster dropped 47% of all the illegal firearms cases in the city. Do you agree with that?
I'm not a lawyer. I'm a physician and a public health professional. I can say that New Mexico has done amazing work in trying to address the suicide and partner violence.
I'm asking about Philadelphia.
I don't have an
The DA
opinion.
dropped 47% of all the illegal firearms cases. Did he do the right thing there?
I don't have an opinion. However, I will say that just as with fentanyl, the spread of illicit
I'm
substances.
sorry to cut you off, but I'm
That's
running
okay.
out of time.
Understood.
The LA District Attorney, George Gascon, said that he would not prosecute any sentencing enhancements for guns or gang-related activity. Do you think he did the right thing?
Again, I am neither a lawyer nor a prosecutor.
You don't have an opinion on that?
I honestly don't know enough about it to have an opinion.
You don't think gangs should be prosecuted for having illegal guns?
I'm neither a lawyer nor a prosecutor, and that's not my area of research.
But yet you want to take guns away?
I've never said that I want to take guns
from
away.
law-abiding citizens.
I think that you are saying something that I've not said in my written or oral testimony, sir.
Okay. You equated gun deaths to heart disease in your opening statement.
Yes, sir.
Which is a greater public health problem, gun deaths or heart disease?
So heart disease does kill more folks across the United States, largely in the
About
end of their life.
700,000? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gun deaths about 50,000?
Correct.
Do you support outlawing fried foods?
I'm sorry. How does that relate to?
Because fried foods contribute to heart disease, don't they?
Again, I have not written or said that I support outlawing.
You're a physician, right?
I am. Have I said that I support outlawing anything in my testimony today?
Okay. Let me ask one more question. I'm sorry, I cannot see that far, Doctor, on the very end.
Cozy Gay, thank you.
Yes, sir. You said, I wrote it down, you said that no one should be judged by the worst thing they have done in their lives.
Correct.
If one of these young doctors sitting behind you, God forbid, walks out on the streets of Washington, D.C., and is raped or sodomized, you don't think the rapist should be judged?
I don't think it should be terminal. It shouldn't be for the rest of their lives.
You think we should forgive them and not give them any punishment?
I believe in
You
forgiveness.
think nobody's responsible for their actions?
I believe in responsibility. I believe in forgiveness.
Thank you, Mr. Wow. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy. Senator Butler.
Thank you, Chair Durbin.
All right, now that we've watched the full exchange, let's talk about what really happened here, because this hearing was revealing in ways the witness probably didn't expect. From the very beginning, Senator John Kennedy made one thing clear. If you're going to testify before Congress about gun violence and public policy, you should be prepared to defend your positions with clarity, not buzzwords. When Senator John Kennedy asked a straightforward question about Chicago's gun violence, the witness immediately deflected. Instead of addressing the reality that violent crime is driven by repeat offenders and illegal guns, the response drifted into vague explanations about environmental conditions and green spaces. That's not an answer, that's an academic escape hatch. And Senator John Kennedy saw right through it. What really strengthened Senator John Kennedy's position was how he consistently grounded the discussion in law enforcement reality, not theory. He brought up Philadelphia dropping nearly half of illegal gun cases. He brought up Los Angeles refusing to prosecute gun enhancements and gang-related charges. These are not hypothetical policies. These are real decisions with real consequences, yet the witness repeatedly claimed to have no opinion. That raises an important question. If you have no opinion on whether gun laws are enforced, how can you credibly argue for more gun laws? Senator John Kennedy's frustration was justified. Because the problem isn't a lack of laws, it's a lack of enforcement. And the witness's refusal to engage on that point exposed a major flaw in the gun control narrative. Then came the heart disease comparison, and this is where Senator John Kennedy was especially effective. The witness equated gun deaths to heart disease deaths as a public health issue. Senator John Kennedy calmly pointed out the obvious. Heart disease kills hundreds of thousands more Americans every year. And when he asked whether fried foods should be outlawed, it wasn't a joke, it was a test of logic. If public health risk alone justifies banning constitutional rights, then where does it stop? The witness couldn't answer that, because there is no consistent answer. Finally, Senator John Kennedy closed with a moral question that many politicians avoid: responsibility. The witness suggested that people shouldn't be judged by the worst thing they've done. Senator John Kennedy pushed back with a real-world scenario involving violent crime. And suddenly, the abstract language about forgiveness collided with reality. Here's the key takeaway. Senator John Kennedy wasn't attacking compassion, he was defending accountability. Forgiveness without consequences isn't justice. Empathy without responsibility isn't policy. And throughout this hearing, Senator John Kennedy represented what millions of Americans are tired of saying into the void. Ideas sound very different when they're forced to face facts. That's why this exchange matters. If you agree that hearings should be about truth, not talking points, drop a comment below. If you think Senator John Kennedy asked the right questions, hit the like button. This is Congress Lens. I'm Audrey, and I'll see you in the next one.